What is going on, everybody? Good morning. Beautiful morning. Great to be with all of you. Everyone, or I should say a lot of us, really looking forward to the music this morning. A lot of people really wanted to see here Bitcoin, $54,000, pushing up towards the all-time high. Get into a little bit of the honeymoon instrumental vibe over here at Conquering the Markets. And we got a really exciting show ahead of us today. A really exciting show. The markets have so much to talk about, so much to discuss. We're going to get into all of it. I think that the most exciting, the most bullish thing that I've come across is this right here. The most bullish thing I've come across since like the MicroStrategy corporate conference. That was uber bullish, leading to Tesla announcing. We have been lining that up beforehand, before Tesla announced and the conference. As soon as Elon flew out to Hawaii, we made note of, look, he's going out to speak with Larry Ellison, the CEO of Oracle, who sits on the board of Tesla. There's been talk that Oracle is going to put Bitcoin on its balance sheets. He's probably going out there to get Larry's advice. This was after Michael Saylor approached him on Twitter and said, listen, you should convert some of those dollars that are just basically dwindling and deteriorating in value and put them on Bitcoin. And Elon's like, that's possible? And he's like, one rocket scientist to another, it is. And then here we are today. Look at this over here. Look on the right. Follow my mouse. And if you're listening to this, I'm going to try to be as descriptive as possible. This is really insane over here. This new company over here, Seetee. Okay, it comes from the parent company of Aker, A-K-E-R is the symbol. I'm going to talk about that in 1 second because what this company is doing, this public company, as they spin off this new company, is absolutely mind-blowing. But why they're doing all of that, they took a big Bitcoin position. They took a Bitcoin position of 1,170 Bitcoin. It cost them $58.5 million, right? And they are one of the few over here public companies that are going to be holding at least 1,000 Bitcoin on their balance sheet. Now, Tesla just jumped in towards the top here. They recently announced, and they took a massive 48,000 Bitcoin position. All right, that would cost them at the time $1.5 billion. Are we going to see some more companies announcing in this range over here? And is that going to be happening in the next couple of weeks? I'm sure we're going to see many more companies. By the way, Riot Blockchain is holding 5 more Bitcoin than Seetee. We're going to just start seeing these columns on both sides and in the middle. Companies start adding massive amounts of Bitcoin to their balance sheet. And it's no longer going to be counted in dollar terms. How much money, because when is Apple eventually, and is Apple eventually going to step in and put Bitcoin on their balance sheets? And if they do, what type of position would it be, right? It's just so beautiful to see, but what's even more beautiful is this company. Please forgive my excitement this morning. Don't forgive it. Please encourage it. Smash that like button. If you're new here, welcome. I'm so glad you're here. For whatever reason that you've stumbled across this community, you've just stumbled into something that's really special, really unique, and really beautiful over here. People, by the way, commented yesterday afternoon. They were like, Jordan, could you focus on the technicals? I feel like you're spending just more time talking about like stuff like this that I'm about to get into because it's so crazy important over here. But I just wanted to backtrack to over here when we were pulling back recently on this 25% correction. And if you remember, as I tweeted out and as I do with you live, I put this line over here, right? And that was the first inkling that we were breaking out of that pullback. Not only that, I said that because of the steepness, if we break out of here, we could be revisiting and breaking the all-time high relatively quickly, right? And then from over there, that we did break out of there. And then all of a sudden, remember, price was right $46,000 just a couple of days ago. People are wondering what's going on. And I tweeted this out over here. I gave this trend line over here, showed how this channel, I took this top line resistance, cloned it to give the support before the rebound off of there. That was the safest place to lean into Bitcoin. You have to pay attention and follow what's going on because it's done every day. And then after that, soon after that breakout, we came into here and pulled back a little bit. And as soon as that happened, the moment that happened, I drew in this trend line. And I said, all right, now we need to break above that trend line over there to really confirm we've broken out and are on our way to possibly or likely revisiting the highs and into price discovery. And then since the breakout of that channel, we had that beautiful breakout, retest, and resumption off. It's conquering the markets all day long. And it's beautiful art. It's just really beautiful art. And one of the most beautiful things is that everyone who's here, you know, and we're talking here now for over several months and longer, their TA is the same. They understand what is happening as it's happening without having certainty. They really understand both sides of the trade they're in and are able to manage their risk accordingly. And it's a beautiful thing. So, I mean, the technicals are my forte, but I am the most focused on the technicals. I've just led you through this whole thing over here. And I mean, not only led you through it, the precision is really applaudable. And that's all it is. All right. And the reason I state that and say that, because now we're breaking out over here. It's Tuesday morning. It's Taco Tuesday. So for sure, Head Snack song is going to be playing later in the show, right? But now we get to enjoy the morning here. So, you know, honeymoon, $54,000 Bitcoin, and huge signal happening. Companies, this company Aker, I read through this whole thing. This company, they were a successful business for 40 years and still are. They just launched off this spin-off company Seetee that is taking that 1,000 or 1,170 Bitcoin position and now is going to go ahead and take all of their company's focus is going to be building on Bitcoin, the infrastructure of Bitcoin, the UI of Bitcoin. They're all about Jack. What's Jack's last name? Not Jack of Twitter, Jack of Strike. Jack Mallers. They mentioned Jack Mallers in this paper after speaking with him. They're going to be mining too. They're setting up mining. And the reason they're setting up mining, you have to read this. I'll link this today, or I'll tweet this out. I will tweet this out over here. They're talking about how they're going to be using sustainable energy to mine Bitcoin and how that's going to be the energy transition required to reach the targets of the Paris Agreement. I mean, this company taking a massive position in Bitcoin is now setting their whole focus. By the way, successful management, public company, 40 years, doing very well. Beautiful stuff to see. Beautiful to see what is going to unfold over here in the weeks ahead, where you guys have all been talking about, right? And it made sense like that. I don't know. I think it came up in the Discord or it came up on Twitter. I'm not exactly sure. People mentioning that, look, it's been 4 weeks since the MicroStrategy conference. We said it's going to take about 6 weeks before companies be able to go ahead and go through all the hoops and ladders they need to do to get Bitcoin on their balance sheet. And they're going to be announcing soon. And here you go. We're just seeing no one expected this position. And that's what's going to happen going forward from here on in. And it's really bullish. It's really bullish. Jordan, brother Jordan, could you take a look at the Nasdaq? I'm feeling like the sell-off is over, but still hesitant to act on it. Could you give us your perspective? I'd like to know also. Absolutely. Let's talk about the Nasdaq. By the way, 15 days. At 15 days, this was the 19th quickest correction in the Nasdaq's 50-year history. Let's take a look at that. Let's take a look at this correction over here. What was it? Ultimately, it was a 12% correction, 14% correction, 12% correction over here so far. It looks like it's possibly bottoming into this area of support. What's brilliant about this is that right over here on February the 17th, we put out this video, February the 17th, and it was called How a Stock Market Correction Could Affect Bitcoin's Price During the Bull Market Phase. Now, in that video, I said, listen, I have no idea whether or not we're going to correct right here. This is February the 17th, right there, price trading, Nasdaq trading at 13,000. I have no idea. But if we are, it's going to be because of rising yields and it's going to happen right here. I mean, if you were in the equities trade, which is really not interesting right now, even if you were to take like a leveraged Nasdaq position using like Bitcoin as the base currency. So obviously, right now you want Bitcoin is the only trade that matters. But if you're taking like a leveraged Nasdaq, does it make any sense? Would that be smarter or more profitable with riskless than taking a slightly leveraged Bitcoin position? I don't see it either which way. Right over here, we were looking for it. It happened. Now the question is it time for us to get in over here? Like, has the Nasdaq correction run its course? I'm pretty bullish tech long term going forward. Even this looks like it could be a really strong buying opportunity, or you could be like, well, Apple's still trading a $2 trillion market cap. I think that's crazy. I remember when it made a $1 trillion market cap, and that was pretty crazy. And then you might think, well, the future value of this fiat money is obviously going to be worth a lot less. Therefore, whether the Nasdaq is worth more as far as real purchasing power in those digital numbers, it's going to be a lot higher, right? So here, is this the pullback you're waiting for over here? If you're interested in the Nasdaq, are you trying to pick the bottom, or are you waiting for the breakout? That's an ugly looking trend line. Let me go ahead and draw in a proper trend line over here. Have something to focus on, and people could see if this is what they're looking at, what maybe is going to be the safest place to get in, and just draw the trend line like that. Take the all-time high, or not the all-time high, whatever the swing high is over there, but in this case, the all-time high, and then connect points. Put a trend line in, right? Until you break above there, by the way, you have strong resistance now at 12,747, because that was strong support, tested a few times, and then when it broke, it was confirmed to resistance, and price resumed off into the support area, right? So a break above there, yeah, then the Nasdaq looks a lot safer, a lot better. The S&P 500 is just into resistance. I mean, buying right now this morning is a little bit of FOMO. You're trading towards top of the ranges here on the S&P 500, on the Nasdaq, the top of the possible rebound, right? Like it's still pulling back. And then there's no edge over there. Anyway, that's a clear look at the equity markets. I think it should be on Market Watch. For, if people were able just to see that 2-minute clip of the equity markets, I think people will be a lot calmer. We'll talk about like ARK and Tesla and all those things a little bit later in the show. But that's a look at the Nasdaq. Good question, really important to do. And listen, I try to read all of the comments, and especially what I do what I can. Here we go. Right now we got Tesla. They're really important to me, and the good questions over here to talk about them together as we all get together each day, right? Jordan, could you focus on the technicals? Are you paying attention? Right? It's all done. It's all done really well. Anyway, let's keep going over here because I want to get into the dollar. The dollar just rejected at some pretty strong resistance. Let's take a look at that in a minute. Why don't we see Chinese companies buying Bitcoin? We just saw a Hong Kong company, China company, announce a Bitcoin position over the weekend. But you can find it on my Twitter feed if you're interested in that. Tesla, Tesla and ARK, by the way, I don't know. Have they reached the point where they become interesting to start getting involved? It seems like, I'm bullish on both of those things going forward. So, I don't know. And, tech in general, something to be asking yourself right now. But nevertheless, when you're putting together the technicals and the fundamentals, kind of like we're doing right over there, when you're putting together the both, you wait for the technical signal. And right now on the Nasdaq, you don't have one. You have to wait for this trend line break over there, above this resistance over there. That might not happen. Right? We might continue down over here. Right now, we've just taken out support, confirmed it into resistance, and we're trading down. We take out this area of support over here, things could correct much further on the Nasdaq. So that's why you have to pick your spots and then wait. You want to align the fundamentals and the technicals, but it has to actually be working together. For me, Tesla, I just need to see a chart really quick. I rarely look at Tesla, but now that it's trading down at $563, let me do so. Let me go ahead and get this back, right? Anyway, I can't fix that right now. I'm trying to turn that broken support over there and then now into resistance. Tesla's expected to open up around 600. Is the Nasdaq correcting out? I mean, similar thing over here. You could put a trend line in over here and trade it on the break. It might break out before the Nasdaq, and if that were to occur, that'd be very bullish for Tesla. If the Nasdaq broke out first and not Tesla, well, then I'd be a little bit, there could be some further downside here yet to Tesla. But, what can you imagine coming back down, trading towards that 450 area of support into the 4? A lot of people would be very interested over there if that were to occur. A lot of people would get shooken out of the trade over here if that were to occur. This is the first time Tesla absolutely becomes interesting right now. What type of pullback is that? I'm interested. That's a 40% pullback. Yeah. So, anyway, there we are. What else are we looking at today? We got a lot to look at today. That was so beautiful. That was so beautiful. And it's not just that one. If you followed what happened even on Twitter, if you're not following on Twitter, you got to follow on Twitter. There's no question about that. This was put out last night over here as Bitcoin was. You notice how I went to the 3-day time frame as we broke out over there? Do you notice? Focus on the technicals, Jordan. Right? Do you know how I went to to change your time, your time horizon? Right? Now you're looking to hold. You're looking to hold. You're looking to hold. You just got the breakout. Sure, you could get stopped out. Where are you placing your stop loss? It depends what type of investment or trade it is, please. It really depends on so many different factors, and I don't really get into that aspect of it with you, right? But either which way, if you are looking here on the 3-day now, with a stop loss over here below, what is this, 36, 37? 3,800 maybe over here, the low of this bar over there. That looks pretty good over there. Now you want to be looking to hold. Are we going to be seeing some extensions like this? You see this last long extension from 20,000 into 30, and then from 30 into $50,000. Are we now looking at trading and extending in towards $70,000, $80,000? It looks like it. Let's see if this one sticks. Jordan, do you think that Michael Saylor's trickle of economies adopting Bitcoin will turn into a fire hydrant gusher soon? Yeah, good lead-in. Great lead-in, by the way. Just let me pull up a chart of Bitcoin over here. But it's a good question. Like, look, now we're seeing some real stuff over here. We are seeing public companies who got massive amount of money and they're buying Bitcoin. And it's just beginning. Like the first one, I get it now, all right? Tesla's the real deal, right? And by the way, what is going to happen? I don't know. I don't want to get into that right now. But Tesla's interesting over here. That's for sure. And it could go down further. That's why you always have to manage your risks, especially if you're taking a new position. But it's a lot more attractive than it's been since a while with this 40% pullback. I don't know. Thank you so much, Brent. Thank you. Anyway, back to Bitcoin over here. I was pulling up Bitcoin, and then I wanted to talk about the super cycle. So I'm going to find my way over to there. Let me go ahead and get rid of that over there. This is bullish. I'm leaving it on my screen over here just because it's so bullish. I want to be reminded of it. This over here, you have to read this. I'm linking it right now for anyone watching right now in the comments. You have that link. That link, you have to read that. It's absolutely incredible, and share that with people. That's the real thing over there. So here we go. Boom, 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 boom. All right, the DXY. We'll start here. I want to get into, remind me to go back there. Let's talk about the Bitcoin super cycle over here. Question is right now, and came up to me, boom, boom, boom. The fact that numerous international institutions are buying Bitcoin means that we are in a super cycle. Like the super cycle is defining the fact that international institutions are buying Bitcoin, or the fact like the US public companies are putting Bitcoin in their balance sheets. I was like, listen, people were massively bearish on Bitcoin when this channel was bullish, right? back towards the lows of the accumulation cycle. And people were massively bullish on Bitcoin when I was massively bearish. Look, going forward as I exit Bitcoin over here and get ready to exit Bitcoin, and I'm getting ready to exit Bitcoin, people are going to be massively bullish. And I'm not, right? But that was the same thing coming into this area over here when I was massively bullish and people were not, right? This was the most massively bullish area to get. Anyway, here we are today. The question is, what is a super cycle? And we're going to talk about it, the super cycle. We'll talk about it in a couple of different lights. A super cycle is actually defined for commodities when an extended period of booming demand for a wide array of commodities leads to a surge in their prices. So you see a huge surge in prices followed by a collapse of demand and prices. Well, that sounds a lot like the Bitcoin cycle in the fact that it's the Wall Street cycle where you go from like the hope stage, you go into blah, 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 right? Well, Bitcoin, a market's a market. Bitcoin does that. It's surrounded by the halving event, right? So I'm so sorry I got distracted over there. I apologize. If I see Gene's yellow circle, I pay attention to what's being said over there. And it got me a little bit distracted. Gene, good morning. Glad to see you here in here this morning over here. I forgot where it was super cycles. If this model breaks and we don't have a bear market in Bitcoin, that's a super cycle, right? Or even say instead of having an 85% drawdown, we only had like a 50 or 60% drawdown. People might say, well, that was a super cycle. And I have to agree, if that happened, they were right. if they're totally right, if in the bear market we only have like a 50-60% drawdown, then they were right. Then that's a super cycle, right? So how do you play that, and what does that look like as you pull back 60%? Are you waiting for the capitulation to get in and try to get in at the low? Yeah, yes, but what you're waiting for is 15 months to the next halving. So regardless if price is 50-60% pullback at that point, or if it is 80-85%, that's going to be the low of the cycle. So I look at the months to the next halving, that's the low of the cycle. If it's only 50-60%, we're in a super cycle. What does that mean? What does that look like? This interview on what Bitcoin did, right, with Dan Held talks about the Bitcoin super cycle. And Dan's like, listen, I did not invent the name. It's been talked about in Bitcoin circles since the beginning. 10 years ago, people were game playing out what the Bitcoin super cycle looked like. And they didn't call it super cycle, but really articulated well here by Dan. I was listening to early this morning. Over here at 44.45, he's going to actually answer what he says a super cycle is. I'm interested. I stopped when I finally got there. If you're interested in this video, I'm going to share the link right now as well so everyone has it in the comments. Starting at 30 minutes, 31 and a half minutes. 31 and a half minutes is when he asked the question, so what is the super cycle? And then Dan goes on like a 14-minute rant, not about the super cycle, but about Bitcoin, that if you're new to Bitcoin or want someone to understand Bitcoin or get them interested in Bitcoin, those 14 minutes I think is something that would get people interested in Bitcoin. All right, so here we go. Let me share this over here. 668 likes over here as we get started. We are 2,500 people live, 24 minutes in. Equity markets getting ready to open up in just a few minutes. Let's take a look and listen over here to Dan Held explaining what he believes the super cycle to be, because we're going to talk about it right after that.
I think I'm even getting this from one of your tweets. You think it'll be about 250 days from now will be the peak. Now, if it plays like other cycles, we'll hit whatever price. Let's say for the sake of making this argument easy, it hits 100K. Could be 2, could be 3, could be a million, whatever. But let's say 100K. Then perhaps we will see a 70 to 80% drawdown, which means we could drop down to 20, 30K. That's a potential. Do you see that possibly not happening this cycle then? Do you see something different happening?
Yeah, you're talking from peak to trough. So that wouldn't happen instantly. That would happen from the top of the bull all the way to the bottom of the bear. I don't think so. And the reason why is that this time people understand it much better. So when I talked about those cycles before where you had people come for the speculation and stay for the sound money, well, more people now understand why it's sound money. Because of COVID, they better understand why Bitcoin is valuable. And they're not just in it for the quick, flip.
Kimberly, not only that, I had it like language was an issue in this episode, which is, I don't understand that. But anyway, here we go.
A 1x, 2x return. They're in it because they need to flee policies with their local governments, where their local governments are printing tons of money and devaluing their currency. And that's where I've seen the narrative shift with friends and family who never believed in Bitcoin before. And now they're like, I need to get my money the hell out of here. This is it.
Well, I'm sorry about that. We'll stop right there. But anyway, what Dan is saying over here is he doesn't think this is going to happen. And that would be a super cycle. I think I defined it a little bit better by something that if it only pulled back 50-60%, you could call it a super cycle. And are we going to see that or not? So even those that are hyper bullish looking for the super cycle, right? I don't even know, Gene, where he is, but he sees that there's actually a peak at least. So that's good. That's ahead of a lot of other people. But even those that are calling for a super cycle are still calling for a drawdown. So a big drawdown. Just, this is going to help you. The reason why we're talking about over here, because everyone is going to be super massively bullish as we exit Bitcoin over here at the top of this peak. And people were just, what does that look like, was asking the question. I took a screenshot. Oh, yeah, there you go. Over here. Jordan, what exactly does a blow off top look like at the peak of the bull market? How are you going to know? Do you remember just going back a little while ago on Bitcoin, it felt like Bitcoin was going vertical, right? And I had to put out the video. I'm like, no, Bitcoin's not going vertical. It's going up, yeah, but in this area over here, and explained it. And it's just to help you understand psychology, to be right for positioned right for the trade. It's the most important part of the trade. That's why we focus in on that. Focus on the technicals, Jordan, right? What is it going to look like? Listen, I'm going to walk you through it. That's it. There's no other way I could tell you that. It's the market is the market. And as it's unfolding, I do a really good job of having you prepared each and every way for what is happening. And that's what it means to be successful in the markets. That's what we do over here. I think it's much, and can you imagine, I don't know what type of audience this reaches over here that Bitcoin did, but I imagine a lot more than our audience over here reaches. And here definitely it's okay. We're more about quality over quantity, but I think it's a lot more appropriate teaching people that look, it doesn't matter what the bear market low is going to be. It matters more of where to accumulate back in for the next cycle. So there we are. Thank you, Gene. That's awesome. All right, everyone. So anyway, let me keep going because there's a lot more to talk about, including the pound, including the DXY. We're just getting started. Gold, silver, we got a beautiful session ahead of us. A half hour in, covered a lot of stuff over here, and that's how I like it. I really like learning each and every day with all of you. I like spending my time here, making sure that we're properly positioned and properly focused. If you're just joining us today, and there's no FOMO, the market's always going to be there. It's a question of learning and educating yourself and gaining that experience that you're able to maneuver within them. And that takes that investment of time, of having that longer time preference. That's what it is. But people that have been here, whether it's a few months or several months, everyone else obviously has read all the comments, right? Does the digital dollar, Jordan, coming in 2023 pose a great risk for the next bull cycle of Bitcoin, right? So listen, it's a great question. These are real risks you have to worry about. Many say it's a gigantic 8-lane highway of on and off ramps into Bitcoin. And that's the probable case. But always watching for the risk. However, I mentioned yesterday, I'm not sure if it would be possible if they were able to just cut off all off ramps and on ramps onto exchanges and Bitcoin, those using the digital dollar, what that would look like if they would do that. But I would imagine it's a risk. I'm not worried about it, but it's a risk. All right, what else? Well, I'll continue watching it. That's why we pointed it out yesterday. I know I'm getting better. This is awesome. Listen to this. I know I'm getting better because of this community, especially when I see my charts look like Jordan's before Jordan even streams. Thank you, Jordan, for everything you do and keeping us updated. You are the razor edge of Bitcoin. Wow, I like that title. Your TA teaching and information is invaluable, always keeping his flock on the right side of the market. And that's beautiful. That's why I wanted to share that with all of you. And that's what this is all about, is bringing that same clarity to yourself. That's why you're seeing everyone's charts being shared and everything like that. Everyone is just seeing the market, and that's beautiful. That's amazing. So what else are we looking at today? This is the pound US. Before we look at the pound, let's look at the DXY over here. I'm going to zoom out over here. DXY into that 92.22 resistance, and it's holding. Now take a look at that. You could say, well, it broke above my actual where I don't do zones. I had this zone this morning on the Nasdaq. Well, that wasn't this morning. That's been here from whenever I put it there. We just bottomed out into that zone over there, that blue box over there. But I don't often, I just use the levels of support, and I use fine lines instead of areas as other traders do. Because look what happened as we came into that, you could say break above, right? But then the retest never came in. I see the market's paying attention a little bit higher. It's interesting if you go ahead and look to the left, and you could see, well, yeah, that's clearly, that was a bigger area of support over there. You had one touch over there, you had another and another. You had 3 instances of it being support, and then I had 2 and 3 instances of it actually being also resistance. I'm going to go ahead and move that up to there right now. And that's what we're looking at as our resistance. We're coming now back down into trendline support, right? Here on the 8-hour. What happens next? Obviously, if this is able to hold, then we are consolidating between these 2 areas until we break one way or the other. But a breakdown of this trend line or a break above the resistance at 92.54, that looks like it brings the next area of clarity. And again, the DXY has been some of this channel's best work and continues to be quite legendary. But so gold and silver, I want to look at gold and silver, but I really want to look at the pound a little bit closer and a lot more than gold and silver. You could see over here 850 likes. Thank you very much, everyone. Thank you for it. This is one of my favorite episodes. Really, I enjoy being live here so much with all of you. And I know there's a lot of you who are listening on the replay, a lot more of you than there, and I'm really grateful for that. I feel like I'm sharing with you. It doesn't, the time that we're all together is kind of irrelevant. Like we're still all sharing that moment. So it's really deep to think about, actually, if you think about that. Pound US dollar. This is beautiful. This is the one we set up. I saw in the Discord some chatter about people watching this one going into London yesterday after we talked about it in the live stream yesterday. And you could see over here, like so far, you got an entry into the trade, right? So that's all you got, a higher high during London and an entry into the trade. It's a question of whether or not you take the trade. If you take the trade, you know what your stop loss is. And it's, there's, as long as you're doing that, it's all a good trade, right? As long as you're managing your risk, as long as you're sizing your position correctly, and you know where your stop loss is, and this is how you do it, right? So anyway, this was the last conquering the markets entry. As we broke above the resistance over here at the time, it was at $1.3785, broke above it, confirmed it into support, and that's break of resistance, retest and resumption over there. Taco Tuesday, thank you very much. I'm so passionate about the markets. I just love them so much. And thank you for sharing in that passion with me. We just lost a little bit of direction. There you go, boom. So this was conquering the markets all day long. Now these are the entries along the way, but you have to ask yourself as price starts this angle of ascension, how long are you going to keep taking entries after that? I look for pullbacks into support in uptrends. This is an uptrend. This is a pullback into support. It's really another safe area to attack this trade. You wouldn't take any of these, by the way, right? Until maybe you broke out above, and again, you could just add a trend line like that and know when it's safe. But off of the support, sure, Anyway, I just come back to it. I didn't love it, and I don't love it, and it's working out well. That's great. I guess there's a point I wanted to make about this and why I'm looking at this. And it escapes me right now. So let's go further. Let's look at the Euro US dollar. Let's see what type of price it's pulling in as the dollar comes off today at the resistance we looked at yesterday. So pay attention to the technicals, Jordan. Could you imagine our timing that it was yesterday? We talked about the DXY being into an area of resistance. We'll see what happens up there. I feel like a lot of people, as the dollar is slightly bouncing off, channel support, are getting really excited. We'll see what develops. It's not really a fast-moving object at this moment, so it's not really a big deal, right? Pound. This is gold, Bitcoin over here, and that trade continues to fall in favor. Next leg up on Bitcoin, this is going to make a next bit. It came up where do I trade that? How do I find that? Listen, I don't get into execution with anyone. I simply don't do it. What I do is I just talk about my analysis of the markets, right? It's up to you to figure out, and the internet is beautiful. You could just do searches, and it's really easy to figure out for wherever you are, what are the best brokers to use, right? All of your different options. Spend time thinking about that, researching that. It's all very important, right? I have seen, I've never placed an order. Kraken, they do offer the ability to trade this pair over here. Kraken for myself, I have issues with some of their, it's not just recently what happened with their price spikes. It's happened before in the past. And, they were really quiet as it happened. They didn't say anything for it seemed like maybe 3 or 5 days. Anyway, let's keep going over here. I do want to talk about gold over here this morning. And gold, now after breaking down, right? This is when we were looking for the breakdown of gold at 1760. It broke down. I was looking for a possible quick capitulation. It didn't happen, but it's still now bouncing over here. You got to watch this area. This resistance already held once, right? Price has to trade back above that resistance and back into that channel before it becomes like aggressively attractive. You can then try maybe taking a retest and a resumption back towards the top of that resistance over there, because until price breaks that upper channel resistance still, right? Now going forward, this could be out of play, but right now, if price bounces back into this range, right? This is the resistance of the channel, and this is the horizontal resistance over there. Clear above there, and then gold has the possibility of running. Right now, it looks very weak, and it looks very fragile, and it's also, just coming in for a retest. It's been bleeding out, although it's bouncing today. Whether or not that's going to lead to something further, I don't know. We are seeing the 10-year come off at resistance as well, so it's really dependent on that. Whatever happens with yields, whether or not they're able to break out further, or if they're able, or if they're gonna, consolidate now finally, even pull back a bit, the gold will trade inversely to that, and that's all it is, and that's what's happening. On silver over here, you got a nice bounce. Did silver break out of this little bit of consolidation that it's in? That's, hard to say. I'd rather get it back above the resistance area right now at 26.30 before feeling a little bit of frothy about silver. Both of those good places to be watching, as is the Nasdaq, right? S&P was getting ready to break outside of that bull flag. Will that lead the Nasdaq, for the time being? Yeah, the market's looking good over here, looking good all around, and Bitcoin obviously leading the markets, and Bitcoin up 4% right now, trading at $54,500. And it's not only that, you're starting to see a lot of international attention. Now, they're not, so far, we haven't seen any other companies put on sizable positions as we've seen MicroStrategy or Tesla do. But we'll see who's next. We will see where it comes from. Yeah, Robert, look, you have to understand Robert's saying, look, I'm getting tired of silver. Maybe I put it all into Bitcoin, and it's still early in the cycle for Bitcoin. It's still very early in the cycle. When I say that, the potential or the gains that we have calculated are significantly higher than they are right now. I can't think of another asset that I'd rather be positioned into myself during the bull phase of Bitcoin. And again, we're just leading up. We're leading up to the summer. There was an amazing video put out the week before last on just a special event that's going to happen over the summer on Bitcoin, a special plane to watch from how many days after the halving that happened exactly on the first and second cycle. It talks about this is the point when the vertical move, or like the parabolic move leading into the vertical blow off top starts occurring. So, which just also gives a little bit more affirmation of, the end of September window to be watching for that peak. And the reason I say that is because, well, the ascent should be starting earlier, or should be starting, look over here, like when you're talking about this pullback over here, and then you see this run. And same thing, you have this pullback and this run. There's a certain many days after the halving. If you're aware of that you're still early is what I'm getting at. If you're in the middle of the summer or looking to really continue to push it into Bitcoin, position into Bitcoin, in my opinion. We're going to see massive gains take place. We're going to be here to go ahead and maneuver through it together as it's occurring in real time, and getting really technical about it, as we do. But right now, Bitcoin's trading $54,500. We're seeing equity markets green, the dollar come off, right? Gold and silver having beautiful days, but all getting demolished, right? And a bounce of the 10-year. We'll see what that leads to and what's next. Right now, it's nice to be like, the journey of riding the bull of all bulls, the journey of the phase. I mean, there's a lot to it, right? So when you get these moments where you're just here sitting back enjoying, that's good. Take them. Enjoy. The music's extra special, extra nice in the morning when that's occurring. You deserve it. You deserve it. Yeah. It's not celebrating. Bitcoin's only $50,000, right? When Bitcoin hit 50,000, we're like, yeah, Bitcoin 50,000, thumbs up, right? But we got, anyway, we're talking about different things over here. Yeah, Cardano chart. You know, obviously you all know I don't look at Cardano too often. Let me take a look over here, see what's going on. And yeah, it looks like it's coming right out of that pullback over there. So it's questionable whether or not you're looking at something like this though, right? So you could take this as like a prime trend line over there, but I would clone it and put it out off the peak over here. Let's see what you get over there. I would clone it. I would go down to the peak over there. It looks like you're breaking above that peak. I mean, it's still resistance, and you got to clear above that to get free over here to let Cardano continue to run over there. I saw that Charles wanted to go ahead and talk with Novogratz from Galaxy. By the way, I mean, Galaxy's up here on that list. Where's my list? Gotta find my list over here. You can see the Galaxy. Where is Galaxy? Galaxy Digital Holdings. They got 16,402 Bitcoin. Boom. Galaxy's a player. Novogratz is a player. Look at that, you know. And then you see Tesla above it, 48,000 Bitcoin and MicroStrategy. Tesla could come in at any time and take a bigger position than MicroStrategy, right? Could Tesla potentially, as Bitcoin is trading around $150,000, decide that, oh, you know what? Like, this is the time for me to go ahead and take the position. I don't know. We'll see what happens. It'll be fun if we start seeing public company FOMO. Those guys do have big egos. It takes big egos to run a company like that. So to be the CEO of a tech company takes, especially a founder and CEO, takes a big ego. Otherwise, you can't pull it off, right? So you know who wants to be the leader? Where are the Winklevoss brothers? How many Bitcoin? Does anyone know in the comments how many Bitcoin the Winklevoss brothers? Because this is nice looking at Bitcoin treasuries, but I would also like a list of like nation states and high net worth individuals and you know, private sector. So, Jordan, yesterday you mentioned we take a look at technicals for the next peak of 70. No, I didn't, Rich. That was just a miscommunication. I'm not yet looking for any type of resistance up on Bitcoin right now. I said yesterday, and I just want to be clear, yesterday I was like, I don't know what happens next. Let's see. Let's find out. We're just right here. Like, that's what I said yesterday. You know, breakout, retest, resumption, we're here. And as far as like how high we go, I was like, I don't know. And it's not often to you that I say I don't know like where we're going. Well, let me see. Maybe we go higher than the $70,000-$80,000 range, because we do have a lot of like hot FOMO that takes place right now. I have no idea, but I'm waiting and I'm watching and I'm keeping it open. So I'm not looking when we're trading around $70,000, you know, we're talking about it. But right now, the smartest highest level thing that I could do is say, well, I don't know. Let's find out and watch. I just traded myself right through this pullback, right through this 25%, 24% pullback. Coming off this pullback, have like with the like, here we are. So, what else? What else do we want to look at? Oh, Twitter, right? This was a message over here. If you're going to follow me, I'm going to have to step up my Twitter game. Thanks for the guidance every day, my dude. I never miss a show, though I usually am about an hour behind watching replays. You're legit changing lives. Of course, I'm going to follow you on Twitter. I like to be a part of all different conversations and plugged in to the community for sure, you know? So that's awesome that you have that growth mindset and just jokingly saying like, because it's Taco Tuesday. It's Taco Tuesday. We need to get on board with this over here. Let's take a second here.
Analyzing the charts, hitting projected targets within the margin. Find the flow, sip the matcha, and wait for the waves to come in with lobsters. The kind-hearted Jordan Foster's working smarter, not harder to move the markers. On his way to conquer poker, trading and investing, drinking the coffee while reflecting on the blessing. The markets are not crashing, the prices might be slashing just to pretend they're in fashion. Hit the like button, comments and smash it. Boom, boom, Jordan in the room. Grab the bull by the horns and to the moon. Throw from the plateau, make the play. Boom, boom, it's a taco day.
Head snack, absolutely crushing it. I love it. Taco Tuesday over here. A beautiful sight to behold, that's for sure. It's beautiful, conquering the markets all day long. This is over here as we posted yesterday on the breakout over there. If you follow what's going on, these pictures, these tweets without any words are the biggest, let's say, I would like to say signal, right? Here's look as the breakout, the retest, the resumption. That's when Jordan tweets out showing you the resistance we're coming right into, Nick, break above. These well-timed tweets have been beautiful to be sharing with all of you. You can check them out over here, right? Giving you the bear flag, the bull flag we were trading in. This was from the Friday session over there. Really important stuff. If you're not following on Twitter, and then over here, right, as we were holding that trend line, and I showed if we break below that one, that's when we come back down and we test the lower line bull flag support. The focus on the technicals, Jordan. Focus on the technicals, leading us through over here, and it's just a pleasure. So if you're not following on Twitter, and speaking of following on Twitter, here's Alan over here. Here's a thread that I wanted to talk about or look into. I'm not sure. I don't like going over material unless I'm really have already prepared for it before sharing it with you. That's the type of love I put into each and every episode that we covered together. But I do know that I enjoyed reading this as I read it. I shared it on Twitter. I'm going to go ahead and share that right there with you if you want to follow Alan. I think he's definitely great follow on Twitter, conquering the markets all day long. Where does that bring us now, fam? I'm not really sure. Bitcoin 54,500. We're seeing the markets, whether you're looking at the DXY beautifully, the Nasdaq, right? The S&P 500 breaking above or out of that bull flag. Now we don't take breakouts on the indexes. We don't take breakouts on stocks. Stocks are tough. Stocks are tough because of all the gaps and whatnot. That's all that nonsense. But the indexes with the minis, wait for that retest. Whenever it comes, you're going to get a retest. Don't FOMO here. Price now is extended off. It could still wick down and be rejected. That's why you don't chase. There's no sense of FOMO. You could be trading back down by the end of the session. Looking healthy today, though, all around over there. And Bitcoin acted really well as, again, the equity markets came under pressure. Right? Bitcoin is just being Bitcoin, doing what Bitcoin does at this portion of its cycle. Now, this is only the first quarter of 2021. Way early, I kept telling you, buy, right? It was around the fall when I said everyone had that shock and awe of the stock market crash, and they thought Bitcoin was going to crash any day. And I was like, that already happened. It's not going to happen again, right? That already happened. So anyway, here we are. Ethereum, I mean, there's the other Alan you need to follow on Twitter. The other Alan you need to follow on Twitter, our Alan, the legendary Alan over here, who was tweeting out or having a conversation yesterday, right? I said we have an education crisis. This is coming off Anthony Papalano's newsletter yesterday. I'm retweeting the newsletter if you want to go ahead and read that or listen to it, the audio of 10 minutes. We have an education crisis. The lack of financial knowledge must be a national emergency, right? And then Alan says it runs deeper, right? It runs deeper than just keeping the plagues ignorant and poor. Money should be fully decentralized. Money should be fully decentralized. He pointed out this episode over here. I'm about halfway in of Bankless, and basically what they're laying out is like, this is like their 9th episode, and they're saying, listen, we've gotten really better at articulating the conversation we're trying to talk about, articulated here of decentralization, how it could be done, how it's being done, and, we're going to make an episode now to get everyone else caught up that's just kind of like joining in over there. If you want to listen to it, there's the link over there. Do I have the right link? That's not the right link. I apologize. This says Alan AU. Let me go ahead and copy that again. Put that into comments over here. And by the way, as you have that access to that link, this is the Alan over here that you want to follow. Alan's CTM to the core. His knowledge is absolutely outstanding at so much each and every day. Yeah. So Alan's just, he's always been Alan's always been that fire, you know? So for me, it was like a lot of stuff that I have understood for a very long time about the space. But I guess if you're new and you're not understanding these concepts, then it's essential, right? But I'm looking forward to the next half to seeing whether or not they're talking about the future and what they're looking to build and or achieve. So, Alan, I'll update you maybe tomorrow on the live stream here about what's going on. But thank you for that share over there and bringing that to my attention. And I don't know, so what else do we got going on over here? Yeah. That's awesome. DeFi Ant getting caught up with his tweets. I mean, that's why Twitter's awesome. We all continue the conversation when we're outside of here. It's really important. It's really awesome. So what else are we looking at over here? Jordan, what happens with XRP? I mean, listen, XRP, whatever. But strongly warned on this channel about XRP, or the company Ripple, I should say, for a very long time. And then there came a point during that sell-off when I was like to all of you, listen, look, I would not do it, but if you were going to go ahead and start, buying in, this looks like a really good place to do it. It might have came off even 20% or so further, but that's not really do you want to hold XRP that you want to trade it? If you're looking to like, Bitcoin's pretty volatile to the upside. You don't need any type of leverage to be involved in the Bitcoin trade and do exceedingly well. Now, if you use a little bit of leverage, and whatever way you decide that that works for you, it depends on so many different factors. It's ridiculous, including your level of knowledge, where you live in the world, what exchanges you work with. Anyway, I can't imagine that anything else is going to be a safer or outperform. And in the Conquering the Markets, in the training program, in our group over there's a video we did about a month ago talking about how you do trade Bitcoin lightly leveraged, being very clear. Listen, this is for experts, which means if you're asking questions, you're not yet an expert, do not yet trade live money whatsoever. But if you are interested in trading Bitcoin lightly leveraged, or already doing it and don't know what you're doing, this video is absolutely for you. So thank you very much for liking and sharing this video over here and this session. That's really, people want to smash the like button more than once. If you're here and you haven't yet smashed the like button, please go ahead. If you can, just get over to that device and just boom, 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 get us going over here. It's a worthy session, 55 minutes over here, and a very crystal clear look at the markets, right? Who out there has a clearer look at the markets? I don't understand why Market Watch doesn't get us on there so that the masses could be educated about what's going on. Talk about the amount of lives that we would be changing then. But you could share this with a friend, this video today, and you could say, unless there was any bad language in that What Bitcoin Did podcast, I'm not sure about that. I would have to watch that again before I said that. If there is, then my apologies about that. I didn't know that was coming. Thank you, Carl. I work very hard at what we do here, what we share together. It's very fruitful. It pays off. I've never been sharper. That's for sure. And it's because of taking that extra time and care and concern with you all each and every day, learning from each other, growing with each other, keeping ourselves grounded, enjoying the times when we should enjoy them, and remaining as cool as can be when it calls for it, having that really clarity. It's all about the clarity. Yeah, we will talk about that until after the exit. After the exit, then you don't celebrate or talk about celebrating until the job's done, and that's how it works. So there we are. Boom, boom. It's a taco day. Yeah, Money Master is worth mentioning over there, right? This should be Conquering the Markets 101. I watched the doc. I haven't watched it in over 15 years myself. I need to rewatch it. I watched the documentary, The Money Masters, yesterday. I'm trying to get my friend to watch, but he's skeptical because he thinks that he thinks it's just a conspiracy theory. It is a conspiracy theory. They're totally the world's richest, most powerful people who control the money do conspire together. That's the point of the Money Masters. Tell your friend he's exactly right. It's a great video. Highly recommend it. Right? Great to have you back. Great to have you back. Thank you, Ed. I mean, it's all an education for myself each and every day. That's why I share it with you. It's all an education as we look across the markets. I don't really think there's much more to look at, right? We got, was there anything else we were watching yesterday besides the pound US dollar? No, I don't think so. And there we are. So let's go out with some music. That's awesome. Jan, welcome. I'm so glad that you are here. It is good that you are here. What a great session. Thank you everyone for sharing. Thank you for everyone for sharing over there. Thanks, Mike. I appreciate you so much. The market wizards and the new market wizards, other than the reminiscences of a stock operator. Thank you to the moderators. You guys, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Miguel, I always love your vibe. Thank you for always bringing it, helping it make the CTM. Yeah, I do. I'll talk about that in 1 second. 1 year, Gemma. Wow. Wow. What a blessing. What a blessing. Thank you. That's why I got them laser eyes. That's why I got them laser eyes over there. All right. There was a question that was asked about whether or not what's going on with the training session this week. The training session is going to be about, it's going to be like, we've covered in the past, let's say 5 weeks, like massive high level Bitcoin stuff, whether it's exit plans and 3 strategies within those exit plans. Actually, like I could do a whole nother training session on that in the future. That was amazing stuff. The Bitcoin lightly leveraged was amazing stuff. The how to push your winners was amazing stuff. And then the one special thing about Bitcoin was amazing stuff. And then the masterclass on Forex. These are the last 5 sessions. I mean, I've been on fire. And what we're sharing up until that moment, it had been a wealth of knowledge, right? Those training sessions. But either which way, this one I think is going to be on for those who are just starting. Like if you're just getting started with conquering the markets, it's a lot of really high level content. Where do I begin? Like, how do I get up to speed as quick as possible? And how should I be doing that? And that I'm preparing the best foundation for success in doing that. That's the most important video I could share with the community right now. So that's the one I'm going to focus in on. What day it's going to be, I don't know. It's totally up in the air. And I'll announce it as soon as I know. And then we'll be on. It'll probably be the day before. And if it's tomorrow, I'll be announcing it later today. I want to go out once more with the song over there and continue on. Thank you, my brother. Bijan, thank you. Oh, what a smile. We're glad you're here. May God bless you all. Thank you so much for saying that. What a good session. I'm so grateful. Thank you for letting me know. Clear as crystal. Cutting edge TA. I love it. Gustav, that's what it is, brother. Crystal clear. The razor's edge of Bitcoin. Quadruple taco session. Lots of love over there. Pure fire. Pure fire. Bringing it today on this Taco Tuesday. CTM. Epic and classic CTM session. Thank you. We finally fixed the video titles. Thanks, Matt. No, I'm not ignoring Ethereum. That's not Signal. No. Wow, that would be insane. A $2,000, that would be like Apple at $2 trillion. TJ, thank you, brother. Thank you so much for your charity, for everything. Everyone, I'm so glad to be here with you all and share this with you. Have a beautiful, beautiful day. I'll talk to you all later.